You might think the age of dinosaurs ended completely when that asteroid hit Earth 66 million years ago. The giant dinosaurs were gone, and the birds that survived could only shrink down, fly into the sky, and live on insects, seeds, and whatever scraps remained. But here is the truth. Dinosaurs never disappeared completely. Birds themselves are living dinosaurs, and after the extinction of the non-avian dinosaurs, one bird lineage in South America gave up flight again. It grew a body nearly 3 meters tall. It turned its skull into a giant weapon, and once again, a dinosaur descendant stood near the top of the land food chain. This was the terror bird, but not the giant plant-eating birds from New Zealand, not the moas. These were phorusrhacids, a whole family of large flightless birds built to hunt other animals. In other words, after the asteroid cleared the space left behind by the non-avian dinosaurs, some surviving dinosaur descendants began to grow back into the shape of land rulers. Dinosaurs did not come back because they never fully left. More than 60 million years ago, South America was isolated from other continents. For a very long time, there were no lions here, no tigers, no packs of modern wolves. Many of the large mammalian carnivores we know today had not yet entered this continent. The ecosystem was full of open positions. If an animal could run fast, see far, and carry a weapon strong enough to kill large prey, then it had a chance to rise to the top. And so, some birds began to change. Their wings became smaller, their legs became longer and stronger, and the beak that once pecked for food was upgraded into a giant hooked blade, a weapon that could tear into living flesh. Terror birds were not just one species, they were a huge family that lasted for tens of millions of years. Some were only about the height of a medium-sized dog, others could tower over an adult human, and one of the most extreme was Kelenken guillermoi. It lived around 15 million years ago. When standing upright, it may have approached 3 meters in height, and its skull alone was over 70 centimeters long. Pay attention to that, not the entire neck, just the skull, from the back of the head all the way to the tip of the beak, almost 70 centimeters. When a head like that dropped down from more than 2 meters above you, it would not look like a normal bird. It would look more like a giant demolition hammer grown onto a neck, and at the front there was a sharp, downward curving hook. But the real danger of a terror bird was not just its size, it was the whole body plan. Everything was built for one direct way of life: catch the prey, knock it down, then use the head to end the struggle. Imagine this: a South American plain more than 10 million years ago. A small or medium-sized mammal is feeding with its head down. There is no lion roaring nearby, no messy sound of a wolf pack closing in. The real danger is a heavy running sound rushing closer from the other side of the grass. Then, a shape nearly 3 meters tall bursts out from behind the low vegetation. It has no teeth, no clawed front limbs, not even a pair of hands that can grab the prey, but it has 2 long legs, built for running on open land, a strong body rising above most of its victims, and a bird head almost as massive as the head of a horse. The prey runs, the terror bird follows. Its long legs close the distance quickly. It does not need to leap like a big cat and hold the prey down with its front limbs. It does not need to bite like a crocodile and twist its body again and again, because studies suggest that some terror bird skulls were strong in certain directions, but weaker in others. They could handle forces from front to back and from top to bottom, but violent side-to-side twisting may have put dangerous stress on the skull and beak. That means a terror bird may not have held onto struggling prey and shaken its head from side to side. That could have damaged its own weapon. Instead, it may have attacked more like a giant battle axe. Move in, raise the head, drive the hook beak down from above, then step back, wait for the prey to lose balance, move in again, strike again, pull away again, and repeat. It was not wrestling with its prey, it was using height, speed, and the power of the head and neck to deliver precise, vertical blows again and again. If the hook pierced the body, then pulling the head back could have torn flesh open and made the wound larger. Some fossil tracks also suggest that certain terror birds may have lifted a curved second toe and used it when pressing down prey. That makes the terror bird look like a strange combination: the long legs of an ostrich, the hook beak of a raptor, and the upright, land predator outline of a large theropod dinosaur, all rebuilt into one animal. But do not think terror birds rose to the top only because they had no opponents. South America was not a peaceful world. Rivers and wetlands held large crocodile relatives. Forests and open plains had predatory mammals that filled other carnivore roles. Giant snakes, raptors, and other meat-eating animals also competed for the same resources. Terror birds were never living in an empty arena. Different terror birds probably occupied different ecological roles. Smaller species chased smaller prey. Medium-sized species used speed to control open ground. And the largest terror birds could threaten animals that were bigger and harder to deal with. This was not simply one bird suddenly becoming a monster. It was an entire family spending tens of millions of years testing different body sizes, different prey, and different survival strategies. In the long isolated world of South America, they became some of the most successful land predators among birds. But now comes the real reversal. The terror bird kingdom was not built because they were unbeatable. It was built because South America had its own special rules for a very long time, And when the road between continents opened, those rules began to change. Several million years ago, the connection between North and South America gradually formed. Two worlds that had been separated by ocean began to exchange animals. Elephants, horses, deer, dogs, cats, and bears moved south. Animals from South America also moved north, and one terror bird lineage even reached North America. That bird was Titanis. This means terror birds were not just old relics trapped on an isolated continent. When the path opened, they really could enter new lands, but the world they entered no longer followed only South America's old rules. New prey appeared, new competitors appeared, climate and vegetation kept changing, continuous forests became less common, more open, drier environments expanded, and the way large predators shared resources was rewritten. Many people like to explain the extinction of terror birds in one simple way. They say cats and dogs came down from the north and wiped out the giant birds, but the real story was probably not that simple. Some terror bird groups may have already been declining before the largest wave of animal exchange, and within the terror bird family, different body sizes and different ecological roles may have competed with each other. Their final disappearance was more likely caused by many forces together: climate change, habitat change, changing prey communities, competition between species, and a long reshuffling of entire ecosystems. The thing that truly defeated terror birds may not have been one stronger beast. It may have been a world that no longer needed the same kind of predator. When the environment changes, the hunting grounds change, the prey changes, the rules of survival change, and a body that once worked well can begin to lose its advantage. A giant body needs more food. A flightless lifestyle means it cannot easily cross barriers to find new resources, and a predator strongly tied to land prey cannot change its menu as quickly as many smaller birds can. The equipment that once helped terror birds rule parts of South America also made them dependent on a world that eventually disappeared. That is the irony of the terror bird story. 66 million years ago, an asteroid ended the age of large, non-avian dinosaurs. Birds survived by staying small, using less energy, and reproducing quickly. They passed through a global disaster. But when ecological space opened again, some birds began to grow larger. They abandoned the sky. They returned to the ground. They built huge skulls and hooked beaks, and once again, they became top hunters on land. For tens of millions of years, they proved something important. The dinosaur body plan did not become useless when the asteroid fell. Feathers could cover scales, wings could shrink, teeth could disappear and be replaced by a giant beak. But the outline of a land predator, running on two legs, holding its head high, looking down on prey, and striking from above, returned to Earth again. So the rise of terror birds was not birds suddenly copying dinosaurs. It was surviving dinosaurs growing into rulers again, inside a new world. But like all rulers, their greatest enemy was never just one more violent animal standing in front of them. It was the world that allowed them to become rulers in the first place. Because one day, that world would change. When an old king falls, the ecological throne does not stay empty forever. It waits for the next survivor to grow a crown. And this time, the crown was worn by a bird that could not fly.